I'm going to talk to you tonight. Tonight's little message is it's about awakening, and it's about and this is the whole gist of our learning is awakening to who and what we are, and it's a process of unfolding over time, like a flower opening, right? The time lapse. So sometimes we feel like we're not moving fast enough, or we're not we're work in progress, so to speak, and it never ends. We just become more aware, and every bit of awareness that we get, every teaching might resonate with us in a certain way that we can grasp more awareness of our divine reflection and our divine life here, and then we attach to that, and it becomes part of us, and then we move down the road and we unfold a little bit more. So I'm reading a teaching right now, and it's a different way of saying the same things, and it's by Lot Kelly, and it's excellent teaching. And it really resonated with me. So I'm going to share what I learned with you from that. And the teaching says there's three stages to our awakening. There's the wake up stage, where we wake from our ego or persona identification, and we come into awake awareness. So we start to see that we are divine and we are persona, or we are ego, and it's overlaid over the top of our divine nature. And we've done a lot of teaching on this aspect. And awareness is the us that's eternal. So we're awakening and coming into an awareness of our eternal and divine life. That divine life is aware all the time, but it's neutral, and there's no duality, there's no boundaries, there's no judgments. Our divine essence is completely neutral and observing without any input or impact from our ego, our persona, the concepts that we've learned about ourselves and life that we've acquired along the way. So it's our authentic nature. The second step is to wake up internally, and we become aware of our body, our thoughts, our emotions, the conversations. We start to become aware of all of the extra stuff that we've acquired along the way, and we move into non-conceptual knowing and abiding, and we become aware of our human self, and we move more toward the non-conceptual I am. So we see we wake up that we are divine, we're not our ego, and then we become aware of our thoughts, our feelings, our human body, and the concepts that all of that is, and we begin to move into the I am state of being. And then the last stage, and all of this takes time and effort. This isn't like 1, 2, 3, boom. The third step is we wake out, and we live and we create and we relate from an open-hearted awareness. So we have joy for life, we have love for life. We are less and less hindered and constrained by our concepts and that we've gathered along the way and that we've been immersed in, and we are living from an open state. that we begin to see our connection to all things, that we're one with everything, and we begin to live from an open-hearted state, a loving state, and less from our ego, our history, and all of that. So it's the same. It's another way of saying, we have our authentic being and our persona over the top, and we delayer, and we begin to attach. We begin to see that our thoughts and our emotions and our concepts really only exist because we allow them and we make them exist. Our reality exists the way it is for us because that's the way we see it. That's why two people have different reality in the same space. And that we begin to see that our authentic being is aware, it's an awareness, and it's not moved by any of that. And we can begin to live in this open-hearted awareness moment by moment. We can move in and out of our open-hearted awareness continuously until we are more aware and less limited by our ego and our teachings and our life we've been immersed in all situations. So we don't have to segregate ourselves away and meditate for hours on end to achieve this. We learn the difference, and then we choose to move out of our limited life and into our eternal awareness in every situation, or we can remain in our emotional conceptual state. And in every point in our life and all our conversations and interactions with people at work, at home, people we don't know, people we do know, walking through the grocery store, in all of those moments, we can choose to be in our busy life. We can choose to be in an awareness state so that we begin to see things how they really are, and that our actions and our response to life's moments begin to flow forth from an open-hearted state and a state that's not personal. So that brings me to a quote, and everybody probably knows this, by Viktor Frankl. Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. And in our response lies our growth and our freedom. So we can just respond and react, or if we're in our open-hearted awareness, we can look at it with neutrality. So, if we're walking through the grocery store and somebody bangs their cart into us, we can be grumpy, or we can stop and see without, it's not personal. Things just happen, and maybe we can see that that person needs something from us, a kind word, a smile, may change their entire day. But when we're inside and we're living in our own mind and our own thoughts and our own busyness, that we're also rushing and need to get home, we'll just rush by, and that bump by that person may have been an opportunity the universe gave us to allow the divine energy in us to touch another person, to be kind and allow them to be in their busy self without it having to mean anything to us. So beginning to live, moving into our open-hearted awareness in our situations until we can be there more naturally all the time, will give us a global view, a view of clarity in every situation, and we can begin to choose how we respond and how we react. And it's pausing for a breath and breathe in and let it go. Like it's not making a drama, it's just a pause. Like just, I want to see what is really happening here. And is my response, is it coming from awakened love, or is it coming out of my human ego? Is it coming from a place of, I like if somebody asks you something, is my response coming from knowing an answer, having an answer? It might not be the right answer, but I feel better having an answer. Or am I really listening and deeply understanding this person and what they're going through, and maybe not responding at all? Not everything needs an answer. When we're really listening and noticing people, it's less about us and more about them. So we don't need to respond, right? And is the answer coming from my feelings? Am I uncomfortable with this situation, so I want to get away from it? Or is my answer coming from love? Is it coming out of my head or out of my heart? And sometimes there's no answer. I mean, I've been in situations where I got nothing, like there's nothing to say. There's all the little responses that, we're taught to say, but, sometimes it's enough to just be like, I don't have an answer, but I'm here with you, whatever you need. I'm not thinking about me. I'm thinking about you. Like, I don't have an answer for that, but I'm here with you. What do you need right now? That has nothing to do with me. And that is living in a place of um, love and awareness, and not because oftentimes we're rifling through the file cabinet looking for the answer that we think we should have, or we're super uncomfortable with the situation, so we're like, I'm super uncomfortable, so I'm just going to be like, I'll pray for you, and we back away. But we are divine life, and we are divine love, and the universe is yearning to touch the other person through your life. And you don't have to have the answers. You don't have to have anything but a willingness to come from a place of awakened love, come from a place of openness. And the only way we can become open is to wake up and to become aware, and then to become expressive in our divine love. And all of that requires the moving away of the fears in our life, the fear of love, the fear of death, the fear of not being enough, of being too much. Like all of it gets washed out in the unfolding awakening process over time. So there's an exercise that we can do, that we're going to do, to we can begin to see the different. This should be like, this is probably going to be easy for everybody because we have done some of this work before, but there's an exercise to practice throughout your day, moment by moment, to begin to notice the difference between the ego and our open, loving awareness. So the ego how we've been trained is we've been given it the job of being the problem solver in our life, and we've been trained this way, and we've lived our lives this way. Whenever there's anything that comes up, we're gonna solve that problem, we're gonna make a plan, we're gonna figure it out. And oftentimes then we're coming back to the table to get the divine inspiration we needed to start with. So what we need to do is back away from the problem solving. That was never the ego's job. Our awareness is our problem solver. When we are in our awareness and tapped into it, we see without emotion, and we see with clarity, and we see the answers that are already there for us. All of them are there, and it's within here. So oftentimes when I say, you're going to put your ego to bed, give it a vacation, it doesn't need to be the problem solver. People will say, I need to do something. If I don't do something, I'm a bum. Or if I don't figure it out, it's not going to be figured out. God expects me to figure it out. How do you know? How do you know? Right? Who said that? You were taught that. We figure it out through becoming aware of a different way of being and doing. It's different than putting the ego lives inside a tiny box. Tiny box operates from within this tiny little box. Our awareness operates from globally, the universe. So we can, when we're going into this exercise, listen to the conversation that's going on in your head, and that will clue you in the difference between your ego and becoming aware. So, and you could do this with your eyes open. You can do it standing in line at the store, driving in your car. You can do it all the time like that. So I want you to practice in and out of your day. So you're going to ask yourself a question. And I'm going to ask you a question right now. So get ready. If there is no problem to solve, what's here? If there's no problem to solve, what's here now? And as you're looking at life, a situation, just sitting, and you say, if there's no problem to solve, because immediately you'll see that your brain is working on some problem it's trying to solve for you. So if there's no problem to solve, what is here now? And begin to let that move in you and let go of the to-doing, which is the problem that's needing to be solved. What's here now then? And I was doing this yesterday, and I said, okay, if there's no problem to solve, what's here? So if I don't need to solve my house, my work, what's here for me now? And I was like, everything's here for me now. Like all of that fell away like that, all the emotion around it. And I was like, wow, the sky, the trees, like the air on my skin, like the sweater is soft and warm. We go back to being free and complete in our awareness, like children. We're provided for, we're cared for, everything's going to be okay. We're in this state of love where we don't have to be striving to solve this. We need to be, because in being, then we start to see. the answers, or understand that there's a path and we're on it, but it might look different than the path we think we should be on, right? It's all evolution. So if there's no problem to solve, what's here now? And almost immediately, you can come into a loving awareness of nothingness and begin to see without attachment to anything. It's freedom, seeing with freedom. That's my message for today. We will do a meditation, but I am curious if anyone would have a comment. So when I said that, if there's no problem to solve, what's here now? What did you feel or see or think inside?
I don't know. That's the truth. That's immediately what like what's here now. Like if there's no problem to solve, the first thing I thought of was I don't know. So you know, then the next thing that came was like, is it tabula rasa? Do I just have the space now to fill it up with whatever I want or whatever I desire?
I mean, we build a life around being busy and problem solving, right?
We do. And when I was sitting here, I think I didn't unmute myself, but I'm unmuted now, I think. I was sitting here in the sunshine and just enjoying being here in life and not thinking that, and thinking that sometimes we don't just enjoy and accept the blessing that's given us. We have to work it, we're always working our brain and stuff. And I'm just sitting here enjoying it. The dog's coming by, my neighbors are going by. It's just to just be there in that spot.
Mm-hmm.
And we had talked about this earlier about just being in the moment in life. And I was thinking, yeah, I'm just being in the moment in life. It doesn't matter if I have to do anything, or it's just a space and time where I can just be here and soak up the goodness.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I've been feeling.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's we should do that more often.
Yeah. All the answers are in when we begin to practice and be in, you just practice when you're in your day and in your dealings. Say if there was no, because our brain is thinking all the time what to do next, what needs to happen. If we say, if I don't have that, if I let that go, what's here now? What's around me? And start noticing the environment and other people. Be like, what's here now? We might get insight into somebody else. and in that letting go, we'll get the answer of what's next, or that overwhelming sense of everything's okay, everything's going to be okay. And then how do I move in this next situation? We begin, because when we come in with a problem to solve, we come in with the story and what we think the answer is, and we come in with it all in a package. And sometimes we have to let go of that to see what else is here now for us. Like we're not having to always um, build a response to the universe or build a response to life out of our brain case. We can pause and be in a moment of awareness without attachment to what we think needs to be happening.
Well, I came home today. I had a free afternoon. I almost never have. All done with my work. I came home and there's all these things, like I needed to do. And it was just, I didn't do any of them. I just came out. I knew I was, yay, I got to be in the class this week. And so I just came out and I sat in the sun. Well, I gave my dog a bath and stuff like that, but I didn't do anything important. I just came out and enjoyed and thought about what we talked about earlier, which is what you guys are listening to now. And I just sat here and soaked it up. Just like, there's all those things are still over there and they still need to be addressed. But I'm just thinking of, I'm looking at the tree waving and throwing its energy out and the doves are flying over. I'm just like being in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't do that all. I try to do it, but I don't do it a lot because I have a lot of stuff going on. So this day was kind of a blessing. I had this time
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't fill it with stuff that's waiting for me. And I enjoyed it. This is really fun. I'm just enjoying it. So,
Yeah.
and I love the feeling that I have with that.
Yeah. It's energizing.
Yeah. And I think it's going to carry me, the problems are over there, but they're not, most of our problems are not that important.
They're self-imposed usually.
Yeah. Yeah. We were talking earlier.
Yeah.
Yes. A lot of them are what we think is important or what we're trying to do. And I'm just really enjoyed this little bit of time I took for myself and
Great.
my family, my little animal family.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I will be trying to incorporate those spaces into my life
Mm-hmm.
more often,
Yeah.
especially when I feel like I'm overwhelmed.
Mm-hmm.
Because in reality, most of that stuff is like, if it disappeared, it wouldn't matter.
No.
Yeah.
One thing to get used to when you stop and you say, if there's no problem to solve, when you let go of whatever it is your brain is working on, getting used to that feeling of empty space. Because immediately your brain will be like, I got to fill up this empty space with another problem to solve or another story, right? And getting used to letting the problem solving go and being in a loving awareness of the environment. Even in the middle of working on stuff that might not be so fun, we can say, what is here now other than what I think this is? And we get a different perspective. It's beginning to open up and begin to see things through divine eyes and not through our busy brain of here's my problem, here's how I'm solving it, here's what I'm going to do about it. And there's not really much room there for any input.
For me, a piece of time with nothing filled inside is like, it's sort of a feeling like you're wasting this piece of time. You should be doing something with it. I think that's, I don't know if it's our culture, how we're raised or something.
Yeah.
You're sitting here, like I sat here for an hour, just hanging out, enjoying my day. And that's like, I have this whole list of stuff I should be filling it with. So it takes a bit of effort for me to not fill if I have an empty space, oh my gosh, empty space, should fill it, right? There's things to do. There's a list over there on my desk, the stuff I need to be doing. So it's, to me, it's a little, it's, a little victory that I've spent this
Yes.
time sitting in the sun on the stairs, chatting with you guys or listening to everybody. And it's, I like it. It's good.
And we've made enormous strides in our relationship with our high self when we pause and let go of all of that. Now we're in communion with, actively, because we're never not in communion, but we're actively in communion with divine life. So how is that not going to benefit us? Like, why is that on the bottom of the list? Or why isn't it on the top of the list? Because that's where life is born, and our lives are birthed out of our divine nature, and they're birthed out of our holy self. We are part of universal love, but we come into this loving awareness of who and what we are with such struggle. Like, I don't want to stop thinking to become aware of my beautiful soul, which is divinity itself, Christ on earth, reaching out into the energy space around me. It's a shift in how we value ourselves and our time and what we think is important and what we think about our lives here on earth as divine essence. When we begin to balance and bring it into perspective and bring it into more of a balanced place, then it's less of a struggle. But if we live from a place of, my value is in what I do, and my worth is in how much I do, and our ideas of success and our ideas of love and life and all of that, we're coming to those ideas and we're making those decisions without time in our loving awakened soul, which has all the answers. It's like we go backwards instead of forwards. And doing this practice, if what's on my mind isn't there anymore, that I'm not solving that, what's here for me? We can do it in a second, in and out. It's a willingness to let go. And in letting go, we receive. We don't trip. We don't fall down. We don't become less valuable or less worthy. We receive power and love and support. And we become open to the conversation of the universe that is within us. But when we are caught up in the problem we're trying to solve, obvious solutions will go right by us because we are not open to seeing them. So it's part of our life presence here is more awareness of our divine life and less busyness in our brain, which is limited. It's a conversation. So just practice that and see, because at first when I said, if there's no problem to solve, what is there? I was like, okay, I have to let go of what I think is super important right now. Then I was like, what do I think about? Like, what do I do with this empty room? And then I thought, well, so the other half of that statement is what's here now. And then I open my eyes, right? I open my eyes. What's here for me now? And was flooded with such a sense of peace and awareness that everything's taken care of. I'm on a path. It's all okay. And I would have missed that if I hadn't have just tried, right? You know, it's much easier to receive things in an empty vessel than one that is stuffed full.
Yes.
So we're going to go into a meditation. I'm going to just end the